The year is 1241. Vienna burns. The greatest army the world has ever seen stands at the gates of Western Europe, and nothing can stop them. But then, something impossible happens. They turn around. They go home. History says the Great Khan died, so the generals returned to Mongolia to choose a new leader. But what if they had stayed? What if the Mongols never turned back? Vienna, spring, 1241. Duke Frederick stood on the city walls, watching the horizon burn. Smoke rose from 100 villages. Behind him, his knights whispered prayers. They had heard the stories: the devil's horsemen, the scourge of God, an army of 200,000 warriors who conquered everything they touched. "They will be here by morning," his captain said, voice trembling. "Then we pray for a miracle," Frederick replied. But no miracle came. When the sun rose, the Mongol army appeared like a dark sea. Horses, thousands and thousands of horses. Batu Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, led them. He sat on his war horse, studying Vienna's walls with cold eyes. "This city will fall in 3 days," Batu told his general Subutai. "Should we wait for word from Karakorum?" Subutai asked. "The great Khan may be dead. We should return for the election." Batu Khan stared at Vienna. In our world, he turned back. He went home. But in this world, he made a different choice. "We finish this," Batu said. "Then we return as conquerors of the world." The siege began at dawn. Mongol catapults hurled stones and fire at Vienna's walls. The sound was like thunder that never stopped. Inside the city, people screamed and prayed. "Hold the gates," Duke Frederick shouted to his men. "Hold them, or we all die." But the gates could not hold. On the third day, they shattered. Mongol warriors poured through like a flood. European knights in heavy armor charged to meet them. They were brave, they were strong, but they were also slow. The Mongol horsemen rode away, firing arrows as they retreated. The knights chased them. It felt like victory. It was a trap. "After them," a knight captain screamed. "They flee. We have them." But Duke Frederick saw the truth. "No," he whispered. "Pull back. It is a trick. Pull back." Too late, the knights spread thin across the field, exhausted from their heavy armor. Then the Mongols turned. Fresh warriors appeared from behind hills. They surrounded the knights completely. Arrows fell like deadly rain. Within an hour, it was over. Duke Frederick stood alone in the city square. Bodies lay everywhere. Smoke filled the sky. A Mongol warrior approached on horseback, bow drawn. "You fought well," the warrior said in broken German, "but not well enough." Duke Frederick raised his sword one last time. "For God and Vienna." The arrow took him through the heart. Vienna fell. Summer, 1241. In Rome, Pope Gregory IX received the terrible news. "Vienna has fallen," the messenger gasped. "Prague burns. They move toward Germany." The Pope turned to his cardinals. "Send word to every kingdom, every duke, every count, every lord. If we do not unite, Christianity itself will die." But unity came too late. The German princes gathered their armies near Nuremberg. 50,000 men stood in formation, the largest European army assembled in a generation. "We outnumber them 2-1, Count Wilhelm said. "God is with us. Today we drive these devils back." The German army charged. Their war cry shook the earth. They crashed into the Mongol lines. The Mongols fell back. They scattered. They ran. "Victory!" Count Wilhelm shouted. "Do not let them escape." But Duke Conrad saw something wrong. The Mongols were moving with purpose, drawing them into a trap. "Pull back!" Conrad screamed. "It is a trap!" His voice was lost in the chaos. Then horns sounded. Thousands of fresh Mongol warriors appeared. They closed around the German army like jaws. Arrows darkened the sky. Count Wilhelm fell. Duke Conrad fought desperately. "Tell them," he shouted. They cannot be stopped. He died defending the retreat. Only a handful of Germans escaped. One survivor reached his castle. "Where is the army?" his lord demanded. The survivor looked up with empty eyes. "Gone, all gone. They are demons on horseback, and they are coming." The fall, 1241, panic spread across Europe like wildfire. Refugees flooded the roads, nobles fled their castles, priests spoke of the apocalypse. Cities opened their gates without a fight, hoping for mercy. They received none. The Mongols had a simple rule: surrender immediately, and your city lives. Resist, and everyone dies. Frankfurt, Cologne, Brussels fell one by one. In Paris, King Louis IX gathered his remaining forces. "What do they want?" he asked his advisors. "Gold, land, power?" "They want everything, Your Majesty," replied his eldest advisor. "They want the world." Louis looked out his window at Paris, the greatest city in Europe. "Then we give them nothing but our steel." But steel meant nothing against the Mongol war machine. Winter, 1242. The Mongols reached the walls of Paris. Batu Khan sent a messenger to King Louis. "Surrender now, and you will live as our vassal," the messenger said. "Resist, and Paris will become a tomb." King Louis stood before his court. Every eye watched him, every breath held. "Tell your Khan," Louis said slowly, "that Paris has stood for 1,000 years. We will not bow to him or any man." The siege lasted 2 months. The Mongols built siege engines from wood, torn from French forests. They had Chinese engineers who knew secrets of war Europe had never seen, catapults that could throw stones farther than any castle wall was thick, towers that rolled forward on wheels. Inside Paris, supplies ran low. Children cried from hunger. The elderly died in the cold. Disease spread through crowded streets. Bodies piled in alleyways. But the people did not surrender. "Your Majesty," a noble pleaded with King Louis, "there is no shame in surrender. We can save the people. We can save the children. What good is honor if we are all dead?" Louis looked at the man with tired eyes. "If we surrender, we become slaves. Our children will grow up knowing we gave up everything, that we chose life without honor. I would rather die free than live on my knees." "Then we all die," the noble whispered. "Then we all die free," Louis said firmly. The walls of Paris broke on a cold February morning. Stone by stone, they crumbled under the Mongol assault. Warriors poured through the breach like water through a broken dam. The streets became rivers of blood. French soldiers fought from house to house. Women and children threw stones from windows. Old men grabbed kitchen knives and charged at Mongol warriors. The people of Paris fought with the fury of the doomed. Paris burned. The Seine ran red with blood. The great cathedral of Notre Dame collapsed in flames. The sound of screaming never stopped. Finally, King Louis stood in the ruins of his palace, sword in hand, surrounded by his last 100 knights. "This is the end," his captain said. "No," Louis replied. "This is where legends are born." They charged into the Mongol lines. All of them fell. King Louis died with his sword raised toward heaven. Spring, 1243. Batu Khan stood in the ruins of Paris and looked west toward the ocean. Beyond lay England. Beyond that, nothing but sea. He had conquered more land than any man in history. The Mongol Empire now stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic, from China to France. One continuous empire, the largest the world had ever seen or would ever see again. Subutai approached him, his armor dented and bloodstained. "What now, my Khan?" Batu turned to face his general. "Now," he said slowly, "we build something that will last forever." And they did. The Mongols brought their system to Europe. They built roads connecting east and west. They enforced religious tolerance. They established trade routes. Chinese engineers, Persian scholars, Muslim architects, and European craftsmen worked together under Mongol rule. But the cost was staggering. Millions died. Entire cultures vanished. The medieval world disappeared forever. In our timeline, Europe survived. It grew. It spawned the Renaissance, the age of exploration, the modern world. But in this timeline, where the Mongols never turned back, Europe became another province in the greatest empire ever known. The Mongols turned back at Vienna. That single decision changed everything. It saved Western Europe. One choice, one moment, one decision, and the entire future of humanity shifted. If you enjoyed this exploration of history, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of moments that shaped our world. What other turning points should we explore? Let us know in the comments. Remember that history is made of choices, and every choice echoes through eternity.